Welcome to Joe's Astrology. Today is Tuesday, April 16th, and Jupiter is coming very close to the conjunction with Uranus. I think it's going to be on April 20th. I talked about the North Node. If you didn't see that and you're new to my channel, check out the description below. I'll have links to other things going on in the astrology that I won't talk about in this video, such as the North Node Venus conjunction, the North Node Mercury conjunction, the Mars Saturn conjunction. But in this video, I want to talk about the Jupiter, specifically, exclusively the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And many astrologers on YouTube, they'll do the around the houses. For example, where's Jupiter-Uranus in your chart right now? In my chart, in a whole sign, you could say it's in the fifth. And they'll go around and they'll give scenarios, and usually the scenarios will be unlikely, very cookie cutter, by the book, not going to happen to you. And you have to really think, and this is what gives astrology such a bad name amongst practical people that wouldn't be interested in astrology, because they're living their day-to-day life shows them practical things that usually what astrologers talk about just doesn't make any sense. For example, let's say you have Jupiter Uranus in your 10th house, and we say that, well, that's going to bring good fortune. Jupiter, by the book, will typically be benefic, and it will bring good fortune. And we have Uranus there in the 10th, bringing quick, sudden change, and we would say, oh, well, there's going to be, you're going to start this fantastic career that you always dreamed of, or you'll get that raise, that huge $20,000 raise in your career, and these things can happen, but we have to remember there's millions of people with Jupiter transiting the 10th house right now, and do all 20 million or so, are all 20 million of these people going to have these great improvements in their life, especially financially, considering the financial aspect of Jupiter? It's very unlikely, it's not practical, and it's just not even possible. So this is why I don't tend to do that. Obviously they're getting views because most people watching YouTube and watching these channels are, in my opinion, are using them as a coping mechanism to deal with their mundane everyday life, and they're looking for those good feelings and hope and wishful thinking, and just the majority of us were delusional. So let's get into what really Jupiter-Uranus means, and you do have to look at your chart specifically. That's why it's hard not to be an astrologer. You have to be your own astrologer, or you have to actually consult an astrologer and just accept the fact that if you aren't learning astrology, that you don't have the time, but you can still be interested and you can still work with an astrologer. So Jupiter-Uranus, Jupiter is, can bring financial gain, and as I said, good things that people look forward to, and Uranus being a planet of change. I'll give you some more examples of Jupiter-Uranus, because I have Jupiter-Uranus in a 3-degree separate conjunction in Sagittarius in the 11th house. And in my life, I have Jupiter-Uranus. You could think of like having friends who are foreign friends. I have had friends from Mexico. I have had friends from the Netherlands. I've had friends from Tunisia. I have had friends from different races. I've had black friends. I've had Asian friends. I've had women as friends. And I mentioned that, and when I say friends, I'm talking about close friends. Like I've had a friend from Tunisia, and I mean, I spent a lot of time with this person. It's not just someone I know who is from Tunisia. And I think that is specific to the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in the 11th house, for me, in Sagittarius, plus all the other things that will go along in my chart as well. But that is definitely something that can correlate with a Jupiter-Uranus aspect in a person's chart. And there's much more I could say about that. And I also wanted to mention going through the houses, for example. I just talked to a friend of mine, and she said something about changing. She just started a job, and the boss is changing, possibly changing, and she has this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction going through her sixth house of work. And you could see Jupiter being the boss and Uranus the planet of changes. So you can see not really like anything to look forward to or anything spectacular, just possibly a change in the management at her work. I have this going through my fifth house, and I typically only date out of the area because I wasn't born yesterday. I've been doing what I've been doing a long time. I've tried different things, and dating around where I'm at right now is not it's not very good, in the sense it's harder to get dates, and it's harder to get people to actually, even when you do make connections, it's hard to get them to follow through and go out with you. And here we have Jupiter Uranus conjunction in my fifth house of romance, pleasure. You could throw in dating there, and I've starting to see that pick up, and there's starting to see some possibilities. But again, I wasn't born yesterday. I'm not naive to think that something different is going to happen all of a sudden now because there's a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. I mean, it merely could mean that I'm getting more activity. And I mean, this doesn't have to be the case. Like I said, if you change the situation, if I would be in a different area, it could possibly be different, or the scenario might just change a little bit. But I don't think these kind of transits are as powerful as, say, if Jupiter-Uranus was transiting, say, my Saturn in a conjunction, or it was transiting my Venus in a conjunction. So again, you really do have to look at the chart specifically to see big things happening. And I think this is a good time to mention the difference between, say, a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction and a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. And I also have friends who have a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, and we, as just in general, many people, I guess it's not, I can't say it's a blanket statement, but many people love the energy of Jupiter-Uranus, including myself, because I'm guilty of this. We love the fast, quick, spontaneous revelations, good fortune, things like winning the lottery. This idea of finding your soulmate, and just you meet them out of the blue. Oh, and I knew they were the one, etc., etc. People love this type of energy. And the difference between Jupiter-Uranus and Jupiter-Saturn is it might be something that you work for a long time. Let's say you work on a career for a long period of time. You work at saving your money and planning, and these big things, these accomplishments don't come right quick and in a flash. They come slowly over time, and even you can equate that to the idea of relationships, where you meet somebody and you don't know right away that they're the one. You don't know that it doesn't turn into this great romantic relationship right away. But you slowly learn about each other. You slowly become closer to each other and fond of each other. And these types of bonds, whether we're talking about partnerships, relationships, business relationships, work relationships, etc., they tend to last longer. We think of Jupiter, Saturn being very sustaining and works in a slow, arduous manner. versus Uranus. It's quick, it's sudden, but we're addicted to that's what it is. We're addicted to that. There's the dream of, we're addicted to dreams, to these dreams, these fantasies. But the Jupiter Saturn conjunction is the reality. This is where you can really make things happen. You can really see changes over a long period of time. And like I said, I have friends. I have a close friend who has a Jupiter Saturn conjunction in Libra, and this guy's life is a perfect example of that. Very successful and accomplished through the daily grind. He is also a Capricorn, so this kind of life is boring. It can be boring. I don't think he's a boring person, but it can be boring, which is another problem for some people. But I just wanted to mention that because I do think that the Jupiter-Uranus energy is great if we keep Saturn in mind, and we can definitely have Jupiter. And by the way, that guy I was referring to, he's from Palestine. I'm sorry, not Palestine, Pakistan. Not the Palestine that's going on in the news right now, but Pakistan. So we can definitely have these great fantasies come true, but usually the Jupiter-Saturn route is more likely to come true, more likely to be attainable if you keep that in mind. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and I hope you enjoy this video and subscribe to my channel, and have a great day.